Hi, I'm Brittany Swan. I'm going to be talking to you about my research topic, the effects of expressive choral conducting on performance and evaluation, a comparison of expressive and clear conducting techniques. And I will also be talking to you about two articles that correspond with my research topic. Um, just a background on why I've picked this topic. I am really fascinated with all aspects of choral conducting, but I have gotten some mixed feedback in my career so far about conducting. When I taught at high school level chorus in North Carolina, the judges actually told me to be less expressive in my conducting and to have more sense of a beat pattern. And with my undergraduate training in choral conducting, I was told to be very expressive and that it was okay to stray from the standard beat pattern. But then in my basic conducting, it was never stray from the beat pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, very standard. So I really want to explore how expressive conducting and clear conducting, how they impact performance and evaluation for the choir and for anybody who really evaluates the choir, whether that be the audience or judges. The first article I'd like to talk about is Morrison and Selvy's article from 2014, The Effect of Conductor Expressivity on Choral Ensemble Evaluation. The purpose of this study was to determine whether participants could tell the difference between high expressive conducting techniques and low expressive conducting techniques and to see how they rated them. They used audio and visual or audio-only samples with the participants. This study was previously done with college-age students, and the observers wanted to see if they would yield similar results of evaluating high expressive conducting more positively as the college sample. So they used young, less experienced music students. More about the participants. They ranged from middle school to high school age with the average age of 14 years. And altogether they had less than 10 years of conducted ensemble experience, with the average being 4 years. So the way that this experiment was put out was that they had two conductors in their early beginning stages of their career and had them conduct the same excerpts. And they recorded 4 video audio excerpts, 2 that were highly expressive and 2 that were low expressive conducting. And what they did was they took the audio out of the videos and they replaced it with high quality recordings for each video, each excerpt. And then for the audio only recordings, they had broken it up into 4 excerpts of 2 high expressive conducting and 2 low expressive conducting. And basically they had the participants rate the performances after listening to the excerpt. So this was all done in the classroom by the classroom music teacher through 9 different schools. And so the middle school was the group that only did audio only, and the high school was a group that had the video audio um, excerpts. And so after they watched excerpt 1, they took an evaluation rated from 1 to 10 on a scale of low to high. And they rated the conductor and the ensemble on their expressivity. The results of this study concluded that when evaluating the high and low levels of expressivity between performance excerpts of audio, video, and audio only, that there was really no significant difference in the high expressivity. But there was significantly, the low expressive conducting was rated significantly lower. And when we separate the two, we find that the audiovisual, when there was high expressive, it was rated higher, more positive, and the lower expressive, it was rated lower. But the audio only, as you can see in the chart over here, it was only rated moderately expressive. Now, when comparing conductor 1 and conductor 2 and the choir, if you see the dark line is conductors and the dotted line is the choir, the ensemble was actually rated as more expressive, had a more positive rating of being expressive. So concluding this article, basically the results did show that the high expressive with audio and video was more positively rated. And basically, it's saying that more needs to be explored about expressive conducting and musical characteristics that can be deemed as expressive, and it needs to be done in various settings. But it also says, we have some quotes, visual information both enhanced and diminished the sense of tension conveyed in musical performance by Vines, a 2006 study. Basically, it's just saying that the visual aspect of performance enhances things for the viewer, the audience, the adjudicator, when you're watching things visually versus when you're just hearing things orally. The next article I'd like to talk about are Toivianen and Thompson's 2010 article, Perception of Expression and Conductors' Gestures, a Continuous Response Study. So the purpose of this study was to test expressive conducting gestures and how they are rated. Basically, they have a positive rating or a negative rating. And they rated expression, valence, activity, and power, all to express expression, to rate the expression. Those are the scales of measurement that they used. They expected positive correlations out of expression and amplitude, so how far apart your hands are, and they expected the participants to notice the left hand and see that as more important as an expressive quality. So the participants for this study were 24 students from a university in Finland, and they all had 5+ years of music training. Majority of them, not all of them, majority had 5+ years of music training, 54%. So how they went about their method was they had 2 conductors who were video recorded conducting Mozart's Requiem in D minor. They did it in 6 excerpts. They took those 6 excerpts, put them into QuickTime, and then put it into another fancy program and actually turned their conducting patterns into an animation. And you can see over here where we have what the point light display is. And then we also have our rating scale right here where we have low and high power, so our positive and our negative. And that's how the participants rated the expression, balance, activity, and power. So they slid to the right for high and slid to the left for low. The results of this study were based off the regression models, and I have this table here that concludes all the summary of the regression model. But basically, both conductors, it was both looking at both conductors, it was seen that expression was conveyed with accelerated and smooth motions, balance with fast and jerky, less accelerated motions. Activity was fast and jerky and less accelerated, and hands were further apart. And for power, it was fast and jerky with less accelerated, where the right hand was tightest and the left hand was closest to the body. So I just want to take a moment and talk about the variables that were in this study, because there were 11 variables that they looked at, and it was conducting gestures, and it was distance between hands, right hand X position, right hand Y position, right hand speed, right hand acceleration, right hand jerk. And then the same thing for the left hand. Left hand X and Y position, left hand speed, acceleration, and jerk. So individually, these hand gestures were deemed more expressive than speed, acceleration, and jerk as combined with the both conductors together. And based off of the results, conductor 2 was actually more expressive. So in concluding this article, the observers have noticed that they need to continue doing more studies, which they have done many studies before, but they need to replicate this study with more conductors, and also thought that maybe it would be a different aspect to have the conductors rate each other's performances. They sought two issues in their research, that maybe expressivity and timing has something to do with it, and body movements. So body movements from the choir, body movements from the conductor. As you see in our quote here from Vollner and Oghohen, while a reduction of conducting gestures to the movement of a limited number of points in space allow a controlled experimental setting, validity could be increased in other aspects, such as facial expressions. So basically, there's many things to explore in expressivity and conducting, not just the gestures, but also facial expressions or body movements and the timing. How, those are just other questions that arise out of this study. But basically, it found that the portrayal of expression can be expressed more. It's more expressive with a greater distance between hands. And basically, that if your right hand's in a higher position and you move your left hand more horizontally and lower, it is more expressive. For greater variance, it said that faster and jerkier movements with both hands, and then use a faster speed of movement with both hands for expression. And there are some references. Thank you for watching.